Welcome everyone to the unofficial official IB podcast, where I, your host Arsenti, interview post-IB students who have went through the system of IB and are currently now in different stages of their life, like university or other places, with my co-host Yasin, who will be... Today's guest is Eva. Eva, if you like you to introduce yourself.
So I am actually a victim of the IB. I've been studying it for 2 years and I got a 32 in IB. So surprisingly, that's very close to the class.
That is very good. That's good.
Even though it's actually above the world's average, surprisingly. Yeah. So I guess that's really good. And now I'm in the UK.
Good job.
So everything went to plan.
So let's start off with something basic and the question I ask everyone. So why did you choose to go with IB instead of A-level?
Well, given the situation of our school and what they would offer, IB was definitely a better option. And I really liked the personalized classes because we didn't have that many people in the class, unlike A-levels, where it was full with like people screaming constantly and like it wasn't exactly the best like learning environment. So that's the reason why I picked IB, and I was like able to pick my subjects again and do the things I actually like enjoyed and would benefit me in university.
Yeah, I feel like A-level was kind of less, I don't want to say less sophisticated, but
it was
less sophisticated. It was
Please,
more, you know.
It was more down. Come on.
Yeah,
it was more straightforward on the point.
But yeah, it was very straightforward. No, honestly, I'm glad. Yeah.
And what are you studying right now, and how did IB help you get where you are currently?
Well, I'm currently studying business and marketing management, but because the school didn't offer the subjects I needed for the university course I wanted to pursue, so I had to pick something completely unrelated, but I got to pick like subjects I was actually good at and I was familiar with, and that made it easier for me, so I ended up getting a better grade and I actually got into university because of that. So that's how it helped me, and also it taught me the skills I need like to navigate like university life and just assignments right now.
That's interesting. I'm also doing the same major.
I met your mom.
Anyways.
You met my mom?
I met your mom in the art exhibition, and she told me to go to your university so you could have friends.
Wow,
that is so
that's crazy.
Your mom. She's a lovely woman. Lovely woman.
No, my mom did me dirty.
Wait, where are you now? UNIC?
UCLan.
Wait, not UNIC. UCLan. How is it?
Alright. This shit. It's not good.
Yeah, that's why I left.
And you're both doing business, aren't you? So you kind
Yeah, and I didn't even do. Of course, I could choose to do business A-level and these kind of things, but I didn't even choose it, and I'm okay.
It doesn't really matter. No, honestly,
it doesn't really matter. What you do in university is the same as what you do in business A-level.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but it definitely helps, but it doesn't really matter in the end of the day. Like, it's fine.
You know, you say because you didn't have the provided subjects for you to prepare for university. Was that a big issue that you had to compensate for, or was it very easy to just like get into it in university or before that in summer, or is it very difficult to catch up since like many people have done business in schools?
Honestly, like the subjects I took did help me in terms of writing essays and like keeping an open mind, let's say, because you get to learn about literally everything, like from all like areas. So that actually developed my knowledge and my perspective on things. But I don't think it helped much with university because, for example, I did art and that has nothing to do with business and marketing. So that wasn't really helpful. But I did enjoy the learning process. That's it, honestly.
Honestly, I don't think it's that important to do business in high school. I think it's more important actually to take other subjects just for your general knowledge. If I did business in high school, I'd be wasting my time in the first semester-ish of uni. I would just not go to class. You know, I would know everything. So,
but that's the thing about the FSB. It just teaches you how to like gain like the fundamental skills to just navigate like anything in university life, like essay writing, just basically like the basics, honestly.
So it kind of gives you a head start, you know, for all subjects, so that during your first semester in university, instead of actually grinding on the notebooks and constant studying, you can actually relax more and focus on getting used to university life.
Yeah, because business has a lot of essays.
I'm facing right now because like the things I'm doing now in my first year in university, the first semester, is all the basics we did in like IB, like how to write an essay, critical analysis, and we already did that for the past 2 years. So basically, I'm just like wasting my time right now because like this is really pointless. I have to do everything again. So I don't know if it was like really worth it doing IB, because it did give me a head start, but I didn't really need it now because like I don't know, like the university I'm in, they help you with that stuff in the beginning. So which was something I didn't expect. I thought you go right into it and like it's really difficult, but not really. You have like a really easy start.
They have those classes for actually probably people like me in A level. Obviously, we didn't do the writing style. Do you use Harvard writing style in your uni?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we don't know Harvard writing style. We didn't learn how to write proper essays in A level, so.
Yeah, and also citation and everything like that. Yeah, we learned.
Yeah, I don't know how to cite.
So honestly, it was so much easier for me.
I had to learn all of that, so maybe actually IB would have been an advantage
it's
if I did IB.
Like really easy to learn, to be honest.
Yeah, it took me like a week to grasp it. It's not that hard, but.
It's not long. So in the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Yeah, so based on that information that I just heard from both of you, do you think that you'd be in the same spot where you are right now if you took A level? Or do you think that IB kind of helped you a bit more with that and you're kind of a bit further?
I would definitely not be in the same spot. Honestly, like, because of IB, I think I gained a lot more knowledge than I would have in A levels. Like, in A levels, first of all, like, the learning environment was really, it wasn't exactly the best learning environment. It was always, like, really distracting and disruptive in there. So I don't think I would have learned anything and it would have been a waste of money. So that's why I'm really glad I picked IB. And in IB, we're allowed to, like, have our laptops. And that's also something, like, we do in university. So we already got to like learn how to do note taking like the proper way for university and stuff like that. From what I hear, like from the A-level students, because they all tend to like drop out and rely on their like apoliterion. So I don't think I would have been in the same situation now, because like most universities here in the UK and other countries, they don't really know what the apoliterion is, and I wouldn't be able to apply with that. And because like, let's say the teaching staff in our school wasn't exactly the best for A levels, I don't think I would have learned much from A levels and gotten a good grade enough to actually move abroad. That's why I'm really glad I did IB. Like at least, like I didn't have the best grade, but I actually had enough to go to a decent university.
Can you confirm that?
Oh yeah, the learning environment is very distracting and it's really easy to not pay attention in class. In A level, that's what I like about IB is very individual. So it's all self-dependent. A level, I had to, obviously I think everybody in A level had this thing where just before exams you just have to cram everything in your head because you didn't know anything, you don't pay attention compared to like uni or IB.
Students, a lot of people were like really lazy, to be honest, and then they would do everything like last minute. And also we were really unorganized. I think our Senti knows that. But still, in the end of the day, like, your teachers are not going to spoon feed you. Like even in university, like no one's exactly going to help you. So it does teach you how to like handle things on your own, and also like how to do things like regarding time management and just being organized in general.
Yeah, and the teachers do, the professors in university, sometimes they even like, you know, they're barely helpful, but they still act this way.
It's not really their job, so they don't really do it, but yeah, in A level,
and if you're
exactly,
and if you're not an IB, you're going to be so confused as to why the professor's not spoon feeding me. Whilst in IB, you're already used to this. You have the similar environment where you have to work on your own and have this kind of process of self-study. You said that also there's. I completely forgot that when you finish the school, you get the IB diploma and also the apoliterion. Do you think the apoliterion is in any way useful? Or do you think that it's just rather better to go with the IB diploma and just forget about the apoliterion?
If it gets like overshadowed by the IB diploma.
I were to advise other people, it really depends on what they want in life and like what are their goals and their plan. Because if you want to stay in Cyprus and go to a university there, of course they're gonna allow you to like give your apoliterion, and it's easy to achieve a decent grade to get accepted to university. But like, obviously the IB diploma has been a lot more useful if you want to go abroad. So
Okay.
I suppose.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really
yeah.
depends.
But still, even in that case, Greece does have like apoliterion is mostly Greek, right? And it's well, mostly it is Greek.
Even, but like, not many people desire to live there and like study there, from what I hear. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
but-
It depends on the person.
And even if you are Greek, like you want to study in Greece, isn't? I feel like it's still better to just have the IB diploma because even in Greece they accept that in most universities.
Yeah, it is
Editor,
good.
fact
Like,
check it. Editor, search it up, fact check it, and put it on your scene space. Thank you.
I mean, it's pretty well known, but like, not everyone knows it at the same time. But when it comes to general admissions and stuff like that, like, the IB is a lot more like reputable. Okay, I did mention that like IB like makes you do like CAS, for example, and like honestly, CAS helped me with my personal statement for university. But again, it depends which country you're applying to, because they
Right.
gave me like stuff for my CV as well, like volunteer experience and internships. Like it made me like do these things, and then that helped me like build my CV and also like write something in my personal statement, which is really like necessary if you want to get into anything.
Abroad, yeah, but locally, I think apoliterion kind of carried me into applying here. I didn't even have to write a personal statement. I just, got accepted.
Yeah, exactly. It just really depends. But if you're gonna stay here, then you don't have to do that much, and it's up to you. Like if I did A levels, I would have rather like spend that time maybe working to build up finances for university and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
But when you're doing the IB, you can't really do that, and it also has a lot of additional like costs. But from what I hear, A levels also is quite expensive to do the exams. It's like 300 for art, which is absurd to me.
Art only. The rest of them, around IB.
Right.
What you spend on the IB books is what you spend on also the A-level exams. They have.
But you also pay for A level books.
Yeah, they're cheaper, but
I didn't
you
pay
also
for
pay
it.
for
But
exams.
most of my class, since we're allowed to use like laptops, we actually just get them for free online, so we don't really pay much for the books.
I don't.
okay.
I
Yeah.
don't even.
I
my
found
school
out
doesn't
pirated.
even use books.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna say this.
Oh, I just pirated everything. No, I didn't pay for it.
I just stole
Yeah, come on.
it from the museum.
Yeah, but now I go to uni and it's illegal to do that. What the heck?
I feel like it's very much legal. Pirating should become legal. Editor, censor that.
I think we should
Anyways.
definitely tell the UN about that.
Speaking of going to other countries and staying in Greece or Cyprus for the apoliterion and going to other countries, how did IB help you change your lifestyle adaptations? How did you adapt to studying in England, where you are right now? Did IB help in any way, or was it just your character?
Well, IB
Personality.
definitely also comes with like building your character. It's not just learning a subject, it's like just building yourself and like learning new things and the soft skills you need to navigate like daily life. Because like now that I've moved to like a new country on my own, I think going through something as painful as IB made everything else a lot more easier. Because like ever since I went through the pains of IB, everything just seems like really easy. Because I always tell myself like, oh, I did IB, I can do this, you know? It just gave me some strange confidence. But it also teaches you like a lot of soft skills like time like management and again being organized, and that's something really important like when you go abroad, especially as a person on your own.
Yeah.
So that's very helpful.
What about your time management? Did it also contribute to that? Your like
Scheduling and
your
such.
scheduling, exactly. To having good schedules and effectively using your time. Did IB help in any way, or?
Well, again, that's really subjective because I don't think anything's gonna cure my terrible schedule and my time management. Like when it comes to really important things, like I will put priority for that. But it did help, but it didn't exactly like give me the skills fully. It really depends on the person, like how you approach the IB. Like if you really want to do well, then obviously you have to make some sacrifices and put in the effort to like gain these skills to help you. But otherwise, like if you're just doing nothing and you're just leaving everything last minute and not really organizing your time, then you're not really going to learn the skills to manage your time. Yeah, pretty
And
much.
what are the sacrifices you're talking about? Like personal or?
There's always sacrifices when it comes to success, to be honest.
Editor, sacrifice the scene. I want to get a good grade.
I'm already sacrificing my time.
You're the yeah, that's true. Your
Like
mom's
definitely there was a lot of time from like doing a lot of other things. Like for example, like seeing your friends and doing like going out in general or like clubbing. Like I didn't do any of that, but it's not like I did. I like to do those things anyway. And there wasn't much like to do in Cyprus, so I stayed home most of the time and I was studying anyway. But yeah, I did like sacrifice a lot of events because I had deadlines due and like exams, and yeah, just chances to like let's say just go out with people in my class.
Yeah, I feel like there's a balance to be met because obviously in IB you have less time and in A level you have way more time. But even with that time in A level, it comes to so much that you don't really have anything to do anymore. Like, what can I do with this time? I wouldn't push myself to study. In A level, you're not that disciplined, right? So with this time, I'm kind of just wasting it. We could use more schooling hours, to be honest. But obviously no one wants that. We say we don't want that, but we could.
7 hours every day. Wait, I don't need more time.
Yeah.
I'm being tortured enough. I'd rather not. Everything has a good and a bad, pros and cons. And what do you think are the cons in IB? What were the flaws? Something you struggle with?
Well, I think most of it is implied, and again, it depends on the person. Because like when I started IB, I didn't have any like previous knowledge from my subjects I took. So I had to start from scratch and learn biology from like the beginning. And that was just so tiring, to be honest. And like you have to do a language, you have to do maths, and like the maths we had like was really difficult. And I had to spend also like extra money on like tutoring for maths, especially. And it was just a waste, like for what? Because like in the end, like I don't know, like my grade was decent, but it wasn't exactly the best. And again, I wasted like so much time because I had to use it like to study the subjects and also work on the assessments. And then we had like the extended essay on top of that, and then like TOK, for example. And like I don't know, most of the things we did aren't really like important and like needed for what I want to do in the future. So it honestly felt like a waste of time and just money.
I mean, me personally, I think the floor in terms of difficulty for IB is really high.
It is, yeah.
Like, why would you need to do such difficult maths for business? Obviously, I have a finance class. I'm sure you do as well. But it's not that difficult in terms of like level of maths that I need to know.
Well, the thing is, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so at least like getting a decent grade in IB lets you really like pick anything.
Oh, yeah, that's
Some
every business.
universities require like a bit more, but if you want to do business and marketing, it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel I don't know. It's kind of my own opinion, but in terms of business as a degree,
Yeah.
it's kind of on the easier side. So I wouldn't struggle to do IB. Obviously, you didn't know what you were doing, so obviously
Yeah.
it makes sense. If I knew that I was gonna do business, which I didn't, I would have still chosen A level because it's easier. It's on the line of difficulty of business in terms of university.
Well, I know I want to go abroad, and like they're not gonna
Right.
accept the Apoliterion, so I would have done IB either way. And like A levels, I would have no hope in like actually getting a decent grade, because like even low-ranking universities here, they require at least like a B and like C, and that was impossible for people to get in our school. So I would have no chance to like actually get into a university.
What is the factor that affects studying the most? Is it time management, or is it mental preparation, or is it something else? In your opinion?
Well, I don't know what worked for me mostly. It was just like motivation, to be honest. It gave me the drive to actually be motivated to study. Like you have to have like I don't know, you need to have a reason to be doing all of this. Because like a lot of people suffer from burnout and like procrastination especially. So I don't know, just being reminded like why you're doing this in the first place can definitely help. Because I was just so stressed, like I really wanted to leave like Cyprus and go abroad. And I was like, you know what, if I fail this, then it's kind of over for me. And I really wanted to build my life, so the stress kind of helped me study, to be honest. This is not the best advice, but just truly envision what you want, because in the end of the day, it's up to you.
So you think of the outcome when
Yeah.
trying to study.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you think IB
Yeah.
kind of disciplined you in any way to push yourself to study and learn and work?
Definitely, it does teach you discipline. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to like speak for everyone and just
No, this
give
is
you
all opinion.
This is all opinionated.
Yeah.
We're not doing this objectively. This is all about you. So you
Yeah.
don't have to say like dependent on whatever. This is
I
all
don't
about you.
know. It really depends. Like some days you're really motivated, some days you're not. Like you just
Of course,
really
that's
need to
all.
prioritize
That's
like
all motivation.
yourself and your mental
Right.
health. To be honest.
Do you think that discipline is like a bigger factor though? Isn't it better to have discipline rather than motivation? Because motivation is here and there, it comes and goes. But discipline, it's always there. Yes, it's harder, but
It
it's
really depends what you define as discipline. Because discipline is again like the act of perhaps like being there every day and like being consistent and stuff like that. But that consistency is fueled by the motivation I have to be disciplined. So
Right.
I don't know. It's just a bit of everything.
and
He blanked. We lost him.
Oh no,
editor, blow me up. Blow me up.
Blow him up.
Blow me
Get
up.
him out.
You do have to make sacrifices in IB in terms of personal life and all of that.
Yeah.
And do you think that IB went the wrong way or the right way by putting in CAS
Oh yeah.
as the kind of a way to replace the personal space, knowing that you have no personal time or barely any personal time in IB, all due to the assignments? Do you think that the CAS subject is a good replacement for that?
That is a good question, actually. Like, I didn't think of it as a replacement, more as something like to really expand what you're doing, because like it's more of like learning beyond just theory and like within the classroom. Really depends on what you do, because like I did go to some events and I could go with my friends, and in the end of the day we could have something on our cast and we would enjoy it and like create new memories. But it's not exactly the best replacement. Personally, like I enjoy doing cast. It wasn't that bad, to be honest. I just hated how it was like mandatory to do, and like you needed a certain amount of like things like things for creativity, and then like service, and then what was the last one?
Activity. CAS, creativity, activity, service. Yeah.
Oh yeah, service. Yeah, creativity. Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't like fulfilling all these strands, to be honest, because I preferred like, for example, like creativity and service, not much of activity. And it was just a bit annoying to like the fact that I had to prioritize those, although like I didn't have much time.
It was kind of forced, maybe like a forced.
It was
social...
honestly really forced. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
exactly like enjoying like doing these things. It's not exactly like a break from studying. It just feels like work again, because it is essentially.
Yeah,
So, I don't
additionally into the fact that it's another thing to stress about,
Yeah.
because you're doing so many things. Like currently, right now, like overall this year, I'm doing this for CAS. Your opinion doesn't matter to me, viewer. I'm doing this for CAS. So because of that, like, I would never do this if not CAS, which it's a great experience. It's a great experience for me. But because this is graded, it's another thing to stress about, because you're like, oh, I don't have enough CAS points.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do this and that for CAS, and like I'm nearing the end of the school. I didn't do enough service. I didn't do enough activity. And sometimes there's just like nothing you can do about it, because like you're always busy, or you're losing out on opportunities that are given to you because you don't have time, or anything like that, because you have to focus on school. So.
And there also
Yeah, I
wasn't
do
much
agree.
to do like where we lived, so it was actually just
Right.
difficult to find something. But
Agree
honestly,
to disagree.
everything.
I had so much to do in Cyprus here, and when especially like again, if you move countries, if you're new and you move countries and you're studying an IB, it's so difficult to find things
that
for
must
CAS.
be really,
Because
honestly.
I did so many things in Cyprus. I did piano, I did dancing, I did singing, I did all of that, and then suddenly I moved to Lithuania. I couldn't find anything. I still didn't. Like, I barely find some things to do, and it's very difficult to find some activities or creativity. Service, sure, it's like go out and help a grandma across the road. That already counts as service. But activity and creativity, sure, yeah, I can run or I can cook or all of that. But it's kind of basic, you know. It's you don't know if that actually might be counted as CAS. So yeah,
I feel CAS is meant to kind of have you make new experiences. Is that? But I feel if it's graded, you wouldn't really try and do something that's very endeavoring. You would do something you're familiar with in order to get a decent grade, or maybe something safer. You wouldn't really go beyond in terms of trying to learn something new or an experience.
And in addition, you wouldn't do it from your full heart. You wouldn't do it like full-heartedly and like put your all effort into this, knowing that you don't really want to do this. You're just doing it for a grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the worst part, you have to like have proof for everything, and then you need to reflect on it, and then you have to like fulfill each strand, and that was just so tiring. It made me like not enjoy what I was doing, because it was just so much work like with it.
Terrible.
As well. You had to write like a 100-word reflection, and then you had to reflect like which strand it fulfilled, and then you have to fill in the hours and like everything. It was just so tiring.
Let me just show you something. This is a unique experience for the viewers.
I feel like it kind of gives you the illusion of free choice when...
That's exactly how it is. That is exactly how it is. It is a complete
like
illusion.
It seems like it, but like in reality, it's not.
Like, I have things here. For the viewers, I don't know if the viewers can see.
You're gonna have to put it on the screen.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen. Editor, get to work. Get to work. I have to write things that I have to put if it goes to creativity, activity, service. Then I have to put it if it goes to the CAS project. Then I have to see if it's school-based, activity-based, blah blah blah. And then I have to also reflect on it. And I don't have time for that. I just everything here. I still have no reflection for any of those. Still don't have a reflection of any of those because I just didn't have time. And when I do have time, I just either forget or just don't remember what I did at this point. And also for the proofs, I had a phone, I had everything on my phone, the cameras, but I dropped it in water and it all drowned and the old data got lost. So now I have no proofs.
Talking to everyone.
Yeah. So I don't know, will it count? My teacher still hasn't, we were supposed to have CAS meetings in the beginning and in the end. I had one in the beginning and not a single one in the end of last year, and this year I didn't have anyone either, so I don't know if what I'm doing is even correct.
You're making me sound look so much better now.
You're welcome. What do you mean I'm venting? I'm not an imposter.
Oh my god.
I'm old.
I said this guy was venting and he's talking about Among Us.
Anyways, editor, fix my health.
Editor, fix my health. Thanks.
Yeah. Fix my relationship status.
Alright, we're getting off topic. This isn't about us being queer.
Yeah, we're just...
The views! Our Senti's gonna be famous.
The views! Oh
Can I have a percentage from the video?
Famous,
I want 10% of revenue from that video.
You're gonna get like 5 cents.
Shame on you. I'm suing you.
Is a lot. What do you mean? 5 cents is 5 cents is 10% from what I'm gonna get. I'll give you 6%.
Like 6 or 7.
8. I'll take it or leave it. Take it or leave
15. Take it or leave it.
I'll take 15. I'll take 15.
You know, it's like doing negotiations, and you like give them a price so high, they're like, no, that's too much, and I'll go down.
What's my wage now?
Getting a mighty 26 cents.
24. Take it or leave it.
Done. That's how you negotiate, Nogla.
You tell them something way higher than what you're willing to pay, and they'll be like, no, that's too much, and they'll go down. That's how you negotiate.
Okay, fine, I'll give me 18.
Oh, we're so off topic.
Yeah, okay, anyways, next.
Let's get back to it, sorry. IB teaches you a lot of private, like personal kind of studying, and studying without teachers. Teachers aren't really helping you much, and of course it depends on the school. But teachers don't really have this thing of pushing you constantly. Of course, if they want to, they can, and multiple times they can push you if they want to, but it's not a necessity. They mostly give you things to do. They help you with IAs and with your extended essay if they needed to, but they're not that big of a factor as opposed to A level, where teachers are way bigger of a factor.
You can be really one-to-one.
Exactly. Do you think that it is a good approach of having this less of a factor rather than in?
Because on one hand, you're taught to be more independent, and on the other hand, you might be more efficient because you have more one-to-ones with your teacher who can judge you, and you can improve.
Do you think it's more?
Depends, to be honest. Because in the end of the day, like, the people that are doing IB in the last 2 years of high school are literally still children, in a way. We're still really young, and not exactly, like, I don't know. I mean, it's good to learn these skills, but at the same time, you do need that push, because you're already, like, navigating a lot of difficulties in your last few years, like, thinking where to go, and then you have, like, maybe issues with, like, friends and relationships, and just, I don't know, having that push from, like, your teachers, for example, can help a lot, because you do tend to feel, like, really unmotivated most of the time, and it gets really tiring because you have to go to school, like, for 7 hours every single day, and then, I don't know, over time you just lose motivation. So, like, for example, like, my English teacher was she was always, like, constantly pushing us and stuff like that. And that actually did help. Like, personally, like, it increased my predicted grade for English. Because she was showing initiative, and, like, I don't know, it was really refreshing to see, because most teachers did not give a shit. And, like, it was hard to focus on their classes, because, like, you could tell most of the time, like, they don't really, like, know what they're saying, or, like, they don't really enjoy what they're doing. So, I don't know, just seeing that initiative from the teacher did help, and made me want to learn more. But, in the end of the day, like, I experienced the best of both worlds. So it did teach me, like, time management and stuff like that. But, like, I don't know, in order to do well, like, having a bit of a push is definitely, like, needed. So it's a bit of both.
Okay.
And that's what makes it kind of difficult to evaluate between the two, because they have obviously pros and cons, like everything.
Yeah, of course. So, based on everything you've said, do you think that IB system is flawed in any big way, or what is the main big flaw in IB?
I don't know, I need to think about this. Well, okay, to be honest, something I noticed a lot, it's just, I think it applies to anything in the world, but there's a lot of classism, I would say. Because, like, for example, if you had money for extra, like, tutoring and, like, someone to write your essay for you, it could save you so much time, and then you can go into, like, studying for your exams, and then you would achieve, like, a really good grade. But other people, like, for example, in maybe, like, low-income, like, areas of countries, they don't exactly have that much support, and that definitely affects the outcome of your grades, and, like, it doesn't exactly, like, accommodate that, to be honest. But it would be a difficult issue to tackle, and it does happen a lot. But I just found it really unfair, because some people did have the money and resources to, like, do well without actually doing much.
That's a really good point, I feel. Because, and it's probably something to consider then when you go into IB, is, you know, your financial status, because obviously school itself is expensive, but if you know you're gonna have tutoring or have to need tutoring, which most students do, because not everyone's perfect in every class, and you know, IB, you also need laptops and, you know, these kinds of devices because it's very modern.
It's a big investment.
Right, it's an investment. Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it, investment.
Yeah,
but you get what you pay for and what you put your effort into. It's a good reflection.
Yeah, because IB is kind of demanding. That is very true.
It is.
And but it is very demanding physically as well, financially as well as also mentally. And this mental preparation. How did you prepare, for example, for your IAs and the Es? Because it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of work, and also exams as well at the end.
Yeah.
The mock exams and all of that. What does the mental preparation feel like? Is it what do you do to actually not stress out, or is there genuinely no way to avoid it?
Again, depends on the person, because me and stress is just I don't know, we're lovers for life. I get stressed all the time, and it's just really difficult to manage because I'm always overwhelmed, and I tend to overthink what will happen, and if I don't do well, what's gonna happen next. And I had a lot of pressure from my parents, especially because we put a lot of money into my education, NIB for example, and it is quite costly, and if I don't do well, then it's pretty much all for nothing, in the end of the day. And I don't know, that mostly helped, but I don't know, nothing really helped with the stress, to be honest. Just make sure you have something outside of school, maybe. I don't know, a ritual, for example, an activity to do that calms you.
You're right.
So friends, family, whatever, all of that things. Yeah, so basically it is unavoidable.
It is, yeah. But it depends on how you manage stress, to be honest.
Of course.
If you actually do put the work in, sometimes you might feel a bit more confident about it.
Right.
Because I don't know, the first semester of IB was the most stressful for me, to be honest. Because I didn't know how to properly study at all, and I had to do so much. And the worst part, I felt kind of it was just really competitive in the environment, because a lot of people doing IB are typically a lot better academically.
Yeah,
and it just stressed me out so much, because I knew my whole life that I'm really bad at school, and I don't know, I just didn't want to be left out, for example. So I don't know, it just motivated me to put a lot of work into it.
I feel like it's the school's issue, because the school, the Pascal, very much focused on percentage.
Yeah.
You have percentage scores rather than 1 to 7, which any other IB school would do. Because me personally, I have the experience of both. And when you have percentage school, it kills your motivation very easily, because you can have this situation where both you and your friend, you got a 7, but he got a 97% and you got a 91, which is 6% less, which is, it's not that much, but it's less. So you think you got this, you get demotivated because you know that you're kind of worse. So yeah, it is kind of a competition, but I believe that it's personally a school's fault. What isn't the school's fault, and doesn't depend really on the school, is IAs and EEs, where their percentage it's not about percentage. There you can't do percent, you get a 1 to 7, and you get all the points with all that stuff. And this whole thing about IAs and EEs and how the school puts the deadlines, because that depends on the school. Do you think that it is better for the school to have the deadlines, or is it better for the IB to every year to put the deadlines on specific dates for every school in order for it to be more fair?
To be honest, I think it would be better if the IB had some dates, but it really depends on the school, and for example, the hours. You go to school every day, for example, some schools have more than others, so they have the opportunity to either submit it earlier or later. So it just really depends, because for us, they had to put the dates to accommodate everyone's progress, but we didn't exactly do much, because they didn't have strict deadlines in the first place. So I think having those from the IB would pressure us into actually doing the work. So maybe I would consider that option. I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Okay, we're nearing now the end of our podcast, and just a couple more questions. First of all, having went through IB, having done all the essays, the IAs, the exams, and getting your outcome, do you regret taking IB, or do you think that IB pretty much contributed to your success in a big, drastic way?
Because it did exactly lead me to where I am now, but I had to do a lot of unnecessary things to get here, to be honest. And like, it would have been easier if I just picked A levels. I could just focus on like 3 subjects and just study those constantly and get the grade I need for university. But the thing is, IB has a more holistic approach where basically you have to really like build the soft skills and like to really like engage with the material, and also to, for example, like write essays, which was really helpful for university. So it really depends. I don't know. I don't regret it, to be honest. I had a good time in IB, and like it was good for me because that's how I like, you know, found my true friends. And yeah, that's it pretty much.
And final question: what is one main big advice you would give to someone who is thinking of studying in IB?
I would tell them to probably start with their assignments like early. Like even the summer before you start IB. Like at least know what you're doing. Just be really organized, like list all the deadlines you have, the assignments, the subjects, what you have to do. Because I didn't know what was an IA at, like until the 2nd semester. And honestly, by then it's a bit too late to start learning about it, because it is a confusing process, to be honest. Especially if you don't know how to write essays and you've never like written academic essays. So yeah, definitely do everything early. That's the best advice I could give you.
That would be it for us. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We've reached the end of this podcast. As always,
Thank you very
make sure to leave a comment. Do not like, do not subscribe unless I change my mind and the editor decides to say, yeah, leave a like and subscribe. I don't know, maybe I changed my mind. Probably not, but we'll see how it will go. Thank you very much for your time, for wasting your emote. Of course, emote. Eva. Thank you to Eva. Why did you waste your time watching all of my videos? Why?
It's because I'm in it.
Thank you very much. There's a cat here. He's just licking.
I'm allergic to cats.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Again, enjoy the rest of your life, because I'm not uploading anymore unless I get famous, which I won't. Yeah, definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Eva.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eva. I'll catch you sometime, maybe, if I'll.
And if it's reached 1 million likes, then Arsenti, you're gonna show your feet.
If this video, if all of the videos combined will reach 1 million likes, I'm showing the feet. The feet.
She is a marketing genius.
I'm showing the feet.
You know what the people want.
This is why I started marketing. I live and breathe marketing.
I will make another video. I'll open an OnlyFans. I'll make it free for 1 day, and then it's gonna be 50
I
euros
want
a
a
day.
percentage of your OnlyFans. I have my marketing.
And I'm gonna be posting daily feed pics in there. If all the videos combined will get 1 million likes. If that happens, I'm doing it. Please, please.